This is really taking shape. So now all we need to do is to create a gnome that can sit somewhere and dangle. So these legs are going to be sewn in line with these two increase lines, or at this point they were decrease lines. So we want, well, by doing that, the legs are going to kind of open up a little bit, and also we're going to do it so that the shoes are facing up. So if you think about it, this is his thigh, and this is his hamstring. We want the thigh up against the body so that if he were to kick himself, the curly toe is coming straight up. All right, so we've made sure that we've got our leg facing the right way, and then we're going to go about 1.5 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch up from this center spot where we sealed up the bottom of Gnutmeg there. And we're going to do a whip stitch. And a whip stitch is simply where we go between two things and we whip the needle back around. So I've got a little bit of fabric, I go through the I-cord, and then I whip back down and around. Now, after you've done one or two, it is a good plan to just sit Gnutmeg down and see, are you too far up that it's going to look funny? Are you too far back and it's going to sit funny? Just make sure that the way your weighted stuffing and the shape of Gnutmeg are working, that the bottom of your leg will be disguised when he's sitting. All right, and so then we just continue to do the whip stitch, which is just literally putting these two things together and then whipping the yarn back around. Those of you who are doing decorations, you're pretty close to being done. You just need to secure your end and do the other leg. Those of you who have the chance that this will be a toy, or the certainty that this will be a toy, you need to do more than just 3 or 4 whip stitches here on this end. What you need to do is you need to place your yarn under and through to the other side of the leg. And we're going to do a couple whip stitches here. Make sure you're not too far up. You want to kind of keep this nice and tidy, but you do want to secure the front of the leg to the body as well. Keep the stitches nice and close. Just go through like a leg here, and then a leg right up close here. And by leg, I mean leg of a stitch. It's confusing once we get body parts in here. Then go back down, flip around, and then do a couple more whip stitches on this side. We want to make sure that people that are carrying Gnutmeg around by his arms or legs are not going to be sadly disappointed by the vagaries of fate. And everyone knows how I like to deal with my ends by now, I'm sure. I'm going to make a little loop somewhere. Let's do it right here. All right, so we're going to do our loop. I go through it twice, once, twice. I pull it really, really, really tight to that body, plunge my yarn in, and come out somewhere. I pull taut, I snip, and it pops back in, and we move on. In this case, I'm going to move on to sewing the other leg on just exactly the same. It looks like my beard needs a bit more blocking. Can you see how unruly that is? Although it's also kind of amazing and awesome. But I think that photo is going to photograph a little funny. So I'm going to go sew the other leg, put my Gnutmeg together, and go finish the photography for the gnome pattern. I hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you. My name is Sarah Shira, and I wish you all the happiest gnoming.